You can stay there, Jack. You can make a grand entry. When the Innocence Project was just a small clinic at the law school, a senior staff attorney, Nina Morrison, and an old friend of mine from college, Dick Hyman, introduced Barry and me to Jack Taylor, who we are thrilled, of course, to honor this evening. Although Barry and I knew something about DNA, we had almost no awareness about how to grow a not-for-profit. And the concept of a business plan was completely alien to us. Jack joined us as one of the original board members. We were told he had demonstrated brilliance in financial matters. Our sources were correct and then some. Years later, the Innocence Project went from a staff of 8 to a staff of more than 70. We represent currently hundreds of people all over the country. We've helped pass over 90 statutes. We've raised awareness about wrongful convictions across the globe and have an aggressive social service program. We owe a lot to Jack. He has been a constant, steady, and truly visionary presence since our inception. He is on our executive committee. He is our treasurer, and God knows that's an important role. He has been an essential partner in all matters. We could not have come this far without him. He has been intimately involved from the very beginning, creating a strong and sound organization that can do the work that we do from a solid and yet flexible financial and organizational base. Now, while Jack's achievements are impressive, he is much more than a really smart and professionally accomplished person. From everybody I've talked to in the industry who has worked with him, they tell me, and we realize this, that he is passionate about justice, that he is genuinely a wonderful guy and a pleasure for all of us to work with. Now, those qualities don't necessarily come from his work. I had the pleasure of meeting his dad tonight, and I can see where part of it comes from. These qualities don't come from his Yale Law School education. Indeed, he doesn't even practice law. They don't come from Jack's receiving a master's in international relations at the London School of Economics. But if you dig a little deeper and you scratch beneath the skin into his Midwestern roots, we learn that Jack's undergraduate focus was none less than Freud and Spinoza. Well, obviously, Jack, you mastered the skills of psychoanalysis, and that explains why you treat everyone you meet with the same gracious, warm, and caring spirit. As for Spinoza, that's a bit trickier. He was one of the great rationalists who coined the phrase, reality is perfection. But to the Innocence Project, Jack Taylor, you are perfection. It's a pleasure to present you with the Award of Freedom and Justice. Jack.
Wow. I'd like to meet that guy. Thank you, Peter, for your very kind words. This is a very meaningful night for me because of how I feel about the Innocence Project and Peter and Barry and all the people involved. I'm truly grateful for this honor. I also want to thank those who came out to support the Innocence Project and me tonight. Alan Smith, previously mentioned, and my friends and colleagues at Prudential. Prudential has always been a very strong advocate for civil rights, and it continues so tonight. John and Wendy Matulski, for your extraordinary generosity tonight, and also for your decades of deep friendship. Our law firm supporters, DLA, Piper, Haynes Boone, and Paul Hastings, not just for your financial contributions, but for what you've done and what you will continue to do on the pro bono front. Jim Rychek, Pearson Partners Ferguson Partners, Michael Bebon, 5 Mile Capital, all of you who purchased tables and brought your teams out tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'll say all the individual friends from all my walks of life who are here, I'm proud to know each and every one of you, and I truly cherish your friendship. And finally, I'd like to thank my father and my wife, Kristalina, and my dear friend, Park McGinty. You all inspire me. Now, I'd like to just take a moment to say why what you've done tonight by coming out and supporting the Innocence Project is such a good thing, and why somebody should support it. First, it is a superbly run organization, efficient in its leadership under Barry and Peter and Maddie DeLone. Maddie is certainly one of the best executive directors of any nonprofit in the United States. The money you give will be efficiently used to free specific innocent individuals, but also to reform the system to prevent future injustices. Second, this can happen to you and to those you love. This set of wrongful convictions cuts across all social boundaries and wreaks havoc on lives. Many of the people in the room tonight prove this. But it also helps you personally. As Michael Morton said last year at the Gala, it not only helps those who are freed, but those who help them get free. When you come to know the stories of the Innocence Project, the humbling love of Betty Ann Waters, the incredible patience, and sheer courage of Calvin Johnson, the magnificent, truly magnificent dignity of Marvin Anderson, and I'll say the heartbreaking suffering of a Nick Yaris, who spent 21 years in solitary confinement. These stories are real and they're concrete, and many of these people are in the room tonight. And when you see the work of Barry and Peter and Maddie and Nina and Audrey and Vanessa and the others who make up the Innocence Project, when you know the stories of the exonerees and the work of the Innocence Project, you know something else. You know that you are being given the extraordinary chance to side with those specific individuals who represent, who personify the better angels of our nature. It is inspiring and uplifting, and it creates an added measure of meaning to help the Innocence Project. Now, I support the Innocence Project because it helps these people get over the terrible harm that's been done to them. But I also support it because I love this country, I love what it stands for and its ideals. These wholly unnecessary, wrongful convictions are a stain on this great country. The Innocence Project removes that stain one exoneration at a time. It corrects the wrong, it frees the innocents, and it betters our country. So thank you so much for this honor, and thank you so much for supporting the Innocence Project.